Of course, it's also a fact that 14 cabinet ministers, including the Deputy Prime Minister, the Home Secretary and the Health Secretary, all campaigned to block housing developments in their own constituencies.
A political storm erupted after comedian Jim Davidson claimed an incident occurred in the penthouse of Labour peer Lord Ollie. He hinted that it involved figures linked to politics and media. Davidson also suggested there may be CCTV footage supporting his claims, intensifying public debate and fueling concerns over secrecy and lack of transparency in UK politics.
The effects of the Birmingham bin strike have been declared a major incident. There are national embarrassments, and with 21-degree temperatures forecast later this week, will become a public health emergency. With Labour MPs in Birmingham busy campaigning for an airport in Pakistan, and the Secretary of State unwilling to visit the city or take on the Union Unite, is that because of the tens of millions of pounds her party receives from Unite, or indeed the £10,000 she's received for her own election campaign?
Kevin Hollenrack just tossed a verbal grenade straight into the heart of the political playground. And Angela Rayner? She walked right into it like someone offering free lunch. You know, it's hit peak cringe when a guy like Hollenrack, whose name sounds more like some odd kitchen tool your grandma uses to sift flour, manages to steal the entire political news cycle with nothing more than a brilliantly timed label. Not a new policy, not a press event, just one label. And it clung to Rayner like glitter from a 5-year-old's birthday party. Impossible to get rid of and somehow sparkling in all the wrong places.
Help to Buy helped 350,000 young first-time buyers. The stamp duty discount helped 640,000 first-time buyers get in the housing ladder, with discounts up to £11,000. Both now scrapped. Is the Secretary of State pulling up the housing ladder behind?
The thing about Angela Rayner is her whole political persona feels like a drama teacher who just discovered Parliament and decided to perform full-time. Passion? Definitely. Sass? All the time. Actual answers? Somewhere lost between Narnia and Neverland. So when Hollenrack came at her with this new label, don't worry, no spoilers yet, we're building suspense. It wasn't just a dig at her policies. No, this was something bigger. He was rewriting her entire character arc in the most gloriously petty and brutally effective way possible.
It's about our Anges, right? The darling of the conference, the union paymasters are all over her, right? And you can sort of one level go, okay, so she's a working class single mum who's
come off
fine.
it.
No, I'm just being like, but here's the thing. This is a woman who 3 years ago in 2021 lambasted Boris Johnson about having a photographer, lambasted him about his wallpaper, called the Tories scum, said they had their noses in their trough. All I heard about these people in opposition, led by her, was cronyism, jobs for the boys. I get that. This lot in 12 weeks, this is what I think, right? They are supposed, or were supposed to be, the party of the working man and woman.
Yeah.
What a load of old SHIT that is, because quite simply,
a working man or woman?
they don't vote Labour because they look at that and they go, you are abusing it almost as bad, if not worse, than the Tories.
If you're enjoying this, hit that subscribe button. Because in politics, once someone slaps a label on you, and it sticks, game over. And in Rayner's case, the label didn't just fit. It came with a matching handbag, earrings, and a tattoo that screamed, "Oops, I did it again." Now let's rewind and look at what led to this comedic takedown. Rayner, riding her usual high horse, powered by Twitter outrage and a shaky grasp of economics, had just wrapped up one of her signature fiery speeches.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I thought the Shadow Secretary was beneath that and better than that, but hey-ho. Look, this is a local dispute, and it's right that the negotiations are led locally, Mr. Speaker. We've been clear that both parties should get round the table, and I'm pleased that this happened on Sunday and talks continue today.
She still doesn't explain why she's not visited the city to look at this firsthand.
Oh, Mr. Speaker, I thought he was going to do better, but he didn't. The minister was in Birmingham on Thursday, and I'm always happy to visit Birmingham. It's a great city, and it's always been a fantastic place, and I've probably been there more times than the honourable member.
You know the type, equal parts fire and fury, with just a hint of "I googled this 10 minutes ago." Rayner was on the attack, slamming the government's latest housing initiative, shouting about injustice, inequality, and something loosely tied to her nan's old council flat. It was emotional. It was dramatic. It was classic Rayner. But this time, Hollenrack wasn't playing along. Kevin, who usually blends into the background like one of those sad office plants no one ever remembers to water, finally snapped. He decided enough was enough.
Well, try again. The manifesto promised to preserve the green belt, and then grey belt came along, which is supposed to be a few garage forecourts. Now it turns out that grey belt will mean 640 square miles of green belt are built upon, the size of Surrey. Is this simply another broken promise?
Now, if you'll excuse us, we're off to order a limited edition TikTok Thatcher mug, just as rare as Angela's credibility. Let's be honest, she didn't just throw Keir Starmer under the bus. She shoved him into traffic and called it a team-building exercise. She once said he couldn't run a bath. Not a country, not a party, a bath. And when asked about it, she played dumb. Suddenly it was a joke, a metaphor, taken out of context, basically everything, but yeah, I said that. The public, apparently, has the memory of a goldfish on sedatives. But then came Kevin Hollenrack, a guy so background you'd assume he was part of the Commons wallpaper. And he delivered a line that made the whole chamber flinch. He called her TikTok Thatcher. Silence. Shock. Savage. Imagine being compared to Margaret Thatcher, but with filters, ring lights, and influencer energy. A mashup of working-class warrior and neoliberal cosplay. Naturally, Rayner was livid. She called it sexist, ageist, probably gluten intolerant. Because when outrage is your only defense, every insult feels like a hate crime. Meanwhile, Hollenrack stood there like a guy who just discovered sarcasm and nailed it on his first go. He didn't even need a TikTok. He went viral just by opening his mouth. And the nickname? It stuck. Hard. It exposed the contradiction at the core of Rayner's image. You can't rage against the system while live streaming your ascent through it. She built her brand on grit, straight talk, and working-class credentials. Now she's all sharp tailoring, filtered slogans, and speeches polished by PR interns. She's not smashing the system. She's accessorizing it. Cue the meltdowns. Social media went off. Misogyny, classism, everything. Except the fact she just got memed into oblivion. One activist even called it a dark day for women in politics. Please. Rayner's made a career throwing punches. But the moment one lands on her, suddenly it's oppression. Let's be real, Hollenrack didn't become Churchill. The man usually blends into the Commons, like he's lost on the way to the pub quiz. But credit where it's due. He waited, watched, and delivered a roast for the ages. The media exploded. TikTok Thatcher was trending before Angela could open Canva and draft a rebuttal. She tried to reclaim it. If standing up for people makes me TikTok Thatcher, so be it. That's like being called Poundland Beyonce and turning it into merch. This whole saga? It's peak 2025 politics, where clapbacks matter more than manifestos and image trumps action. Angela Rayner isn't the problem. She's the product. Loud, viral, always trending. But when you peel back the punchlines, it's all platform, no policy. And Hollenrack? He didn't just drop a nickname. He nailed a moment. Because every time Angela's asked for a plan, she gives a memoir. Powerful? Sure. Practical? Not really. Inspiring stories don't build houses. And punchlines don't fix policy. But in today's politics, the insult lasts longer than the idea. Welcome to the show.